I have a new project. These are Bose 901 Series 2 Continental, because it has this little extra wooden pieces there. It kind of makes it look, I think it makes them look like probably the most mid-century modern iconic Bose 901s. There's a lot to kind of talk about here because these are probably the most loved and hated speakers that were ever produced. Now there's the audiophile community really doesn't like Bose a whole lot, and I can understand that because Bose pretty much is a good marketing company. The 901s I think are kind of gimmicky because if you don't know, most of the sound comes. This is the back of the speaker. Most of the sound comes from the back and reflects against back walls, and you really don't get good imaging, or it's not, the sound is not very tight. And they used these little 4.5-inch drivers, which I used to build speakers back in the late 80s. And these, are a version of a company called CTS. I think originally made these. I could be wrong about all this, so this is from my knowledge, but these were made in Kentucky originally, and a lot of people call these the pioneer full range speakers. But back when I was building, back in the late 80s, these are really cheap speakers. They didn't have the Bose or anything like that on them, but they just had a black cone, and they were probably like $6-7 each. So Bose went ahead and put 9 of these, 8 on the back and 1 in the front, and did a pretty good marketing job of this rear reflecting, spatial sound everywhere marketing campaign, and they're really good at that. Bose is really good at making a lot out of a little, and that's where I think a lot of people hate Bose. And the sound quality is definitely not for critical listening, but I mean, they perform. They get a lot out of a little. Initially, when I was looking at buying these back when I was 18 years old, because I thought they were, once again, I thought, like everybody else, I thought it was a really great concept. And I thought they were, unbelievable. And people would always hang them, put eye hooks on the top and hang them by the ceiling. These came with the tulip stands, and I have the equalizer there, but they were made from, this version was made from 73 to 76. So these are over 50 years old. And the one good thing about these is that the Series 2 and the Series 1 have the material surround. So they're still in good shape. These, I don't know the history of these. Like I said, I just got these probably a couple months ago, and I've been, working on them little by little. But they're still in good shape. The surround is still in good shape. However, I think they were kept in a storage unit because there's a lot of mold on them. And I fired the first one up, and only 3 of the drivers were working. The second one, 6 of the drivers, 6 out of the 9, and this one's 3 out of the 9. And so I started taking it apart, and I thought it was going to be easy. I thought I was just going to go ahead and put a little furniture restorer on there, wood restorer, and they would be ready to go. But it turned into a lot bigger project. As you can see, I've taken this one completely apart. I've pulled the wiring harness just to try to figure out what drivers are working, which aren't working. And it ended up that only 2 of the drivers weren't working, these 2 up top. And I went ahead and spent some painstaking hours getting these to work again, and they are. And I'm gonna go ahead, because this one of these is not working, so I'm gonna have to pull that apart just to figure out which driver is not working. And a big reason for the 6 working in this one and the 3 working in this one is because of the way that they're wired. And I made a little diagram kind of going over so I understand. I mean, this is available, you know, online. You can find this. This makes more sense to me, though, looking at it this way. And what they've done is 9 drivers. They split them into 3 groups. Group 1, 2, and 3. And what they've done is wired these, each group, in series, and then the 3 groups together in parallel. Because these are basically 8 ohm drivers. And by doing this, each series group, you add the ohms. And then when you put those groups together in parallel, it divides the ohms. So you end up with, I haven't measured it, but probably around a 7 ohm, 8 ohm final product at the end. So anyway, that's the reason any of these groups, if you have one of the drivers that fails, it'll cancel the whole group. So in this one here, I obviously had a speaker in each group, 1 speaker in each group that failed, so only 3 worked. And this one over here, I have 6 that work. So I have to find which group, which speaker is failing and canceling out the whole group. But at the same time, this kind of gave me an idea, because one of the big problems that I see with the 901s is because all the drivers are wired together, and that includes the front driver, they all have the same power going to them. And I'm going to try to just play around with this and change it around so that the front driver is not just grouped with the rest of them. And I think I might be able to get a little more output or a little more dedicated input going into that speaker, that front speaker, so I could get a little more juice out of it. Because I really think that that's where these speakers lack a lot, is that the front puts out the same as the rear. So when you're sitting and listening to these, you're hearing more coming from the back than from the front. And I would like to have the front with a little more energy to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that too. But the first thing is to pull this speaker apart and try to figure out which group of 3 is causing the problem, and go to repair that driver and show you how to repair the driver. So anyway, this is just the first part. I'm just kind of laying out the process here. And the bad thing about these also is that these backs, this back, this is this one for this speaker, but they're kind of stapled on. And one thing I probably will do is either Velcro or use magnets on here, so that in the future, if you want to pull this back off, it's fairly easy to do so, instead of having to rip them off and rip staples out of there. So the other thing, a little bit of history of the 901s, series 1 and 2 were much more basic speakers than the Series 3 forward. And the Series 3 forward, they also made big changes to the drivers. I think they probably had a completely different manufacturer make them, and they don't have that material surround, they have foam. So especially what I've heard is the 3 and 4, series 3 and 4, the foam rotted pretty quickly. So trying to refoam these guys is really a big problem because I don't know, I haven't done it. So I would guess that it might take an hour each to refoam them, and you're talking about 18 drivers between 2 speakers, so that's kind of a problem. But big changes happened between series 1 and 2 and then the rest of the series 3 through 6. And one of the big things is that foam surround drivers, and also they created that injection molded center piece, so that it creates a ported bass. Now this here, the series 1 and 2, it's just an empty cabinet. It's just a cabinet and just, 9 holes in one cabinet, no port. So they all share the same space, where the series 3 and 4 were, they had a elaborate porting system. It was a big injection molded plastic, enclosure for these, and you'd see the ports coming out the back to enhance the bass. And I don't know what your preference is, but I will always prefer a sealed cabinet if possible. If the driver can get enough movement in a sealed cabinet, the bass is always better. It's a tighter bass. It's a just better sounding bass. And I think these might sound better than, I've had some series 6s. I've never had a series 2, but we'll test them out and see what they end up sounding like. But the fact that it's a sealed cabinet will probably be a good benefit for this. And also, I didn't touch on this yet, but because Bose went ahead and used these really inexpensive drivers, they don't have a lot of bass and they don't have a lot of treble, but they are full range. It's just that they're rolled off on the bass and the treble big time. So Mr. Bose decided to in order to use these and get a good sound, he needed a big boost on the upper end and the lower end. So he created a dedicated equalizer. And I mean, I have used the Series 6 with an external equalizer, not the Bose equalizer, and you can get them to sound fine. You just need you need an equalizer with a lot of boost on the lower end and the upper end. And that's basically what this does, is it's customized specifically for the 901s, this series, so that there's a huge boost in treble and a huge boost in bass. So he took these speakers that were not very efficient in bass and treble and just basically boosted, as much as possible on the low end and the top end to get the sound, get a decent sound out of here. But once again, you listen to them and they're not very good with imaging. So you don't get a good center image, and once you listen to them compared to some speakers that have a very good image, it's like I said, it's more for people that are into critical listening, that want to have good imaging and soundstage, and these just don't have that. But they are good if you want to sound like more of a orchestra hall or something like that with the reflections. I could see how these might be something you might want to use. If it comes to singing, and you want to hear like a real jazz setup and feel like when you close your eyes you're in a jazz club, that's not going to give you that. You're not going to get that imaging with these, but they do have their purpose, and I think they're probably one of the best looking. You put these pieces in here and this in front of here, and I don't know, just a very good mid-century modern look for these. So they are very nostalgic, and they're just very stylish personally for me. And but they're not the greatest sound, but they produce a lot of sound. So I mean, you can crank them up and they will produce a lot. So anyway, it's the first in the series. I'm going to go ahead and just have this as one part and start tearing apart this other one as I did this one. And we'll go through and find the rotten apple, because there's obviously one speaker. It could be two, because within this wiring, there could potentially be two in one of these groups that fail, but I'm guessing there's probably only one. And I'll go through the repair of that and everything else associated with getting these things going again. So hope you enjoyed that, and look for the second one to be coming out fairly soon. Thanks.